Alright guys, let's take a look at the runes for Hyperactive's build, how he manages to get 80 million DPS. This is on a 1 Scarecrow count. Okay, so let's start with Fireball. Fireball is actually level 40, it's only showing 33. Two levels come from the Candor Essences, there are 11, it's locked, and one from Runestones, and then it gets 2 from the necklace, plus 2 from the ring, and plus 3 from the chest armor. So that totals to 40. Makes Lightning Chain 38 and Fire Torrent 39. So that's big. So let's see what else we have here. 4 million DPS on the Fireball. It's a lot of DPS for a skill. It's awakened with Source, giving it a 13.1% element damage amplification. We're gonna see a lot of damage amplifications in this build, a whole lot, okay? Two things stand out in this build. We're gonna see that in this video, in the third video, when we go to the Zodiac, we're gonna see a lot of damage amplifications and cast speed as well. And on the gear, on the fourth video, a lot of damage amplifications and cast speed. Okay, so those two things stand out in this build. They are very, very important. There are other things as well, but these two, as far as damage is concerned. So let's start with element damage amplification. Awakened. It gets 0.6% element damage amplification per 1 blue link rune on the linked skill rune. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 3% plus the 27.4%. That's like 30.4% element damage amplification just right out of the gate at the first link rune, already giving 30% element damage amplification. Okay, then we go here to concentrated area damage awakened, giving it plus 5.5% damage amplification and area of effect dampening. This is not a problem. Did you notice any problem when you watch the first video with the gameplays? Did you notice any problem with a reduced area of effect by 10%? This is not an issue. So 5.5 with 8 from legendary plus 25.8 here. So this is more than 30% damage amplification on this link rune. So 2 link runes already with 30% damage amplification each. Damage amplification, the amplified damage, every time you get damage amplification, they don't add up. 30% with 30% is not 60%. They multiply each other because damage amplification is always applied on the total damage of the build. It multiplies the total damage. So they don't add up, they multiply each other. That's why it's so important, damage amplification. Then we have Mana Storm, Awakened, with Source, giving it plus 43%. Now this here, these add up. If you get plus 40% damage and plus 40% damage, then that is plus 80% damage. They add, not amplification, they multiply. And Mana Storm, 31.1% strike damage amplification, and the dot, because Fireball also has a dot, it doesn't do as much damage as the skill, unlike Toxic Flame, which only does dot. The dot is the damage, but the dot also gets amplified. So more big strike damage amplification. And then we have a pair here, it's a combo of Persistence and Pulverize. And let me show you why it's a combo if you still don't understand or don't know these link runes. Persistence is going to disable critical hits, so Hyperactive is doing 80 million without any critical hits, okay? Any critical hits. So critical hit is disabled on Fireball. It doesn't disable in the whole character, only on this skill rune that is linked. So Fireball is not doing critical hits. On the other hand, it's doing 29.4 strike damage amplification. Yeah. 10% chance to deal double damage on hit and 60% strike damage. And because it's not doing any critical hits, Pulverize is big because you have 100% chance to gain pulverize on non-critical hits, which every hit. Every hit is non-critical, so you always get pulverize. And what pulverize is gonna do is you get stacks in every non-critical hit to a maximum of 5 stacks. Each stack is going to increase it's going to give you 6.7% strike damage amplification. So with 5 you get 33.5% strike damage amplification. You lose all pulverize when you do a critical hit, but you don't. So you keep the pulverize. So all of these each do more than 30% damage amplification each. And then we have Fireball triggering Lightning Chain with the use of spell activation on spell hit. Lightning Chain also awakened with Verdi, doing 770k DPS on the skill. It has 9 Candor Essences, so it gets +1 here. So Verdi is going to give it chain range and lightning damage amplification per 1 remaining chains to a maximum of 15, so we can get as high as 30%, around 30%, a little bit above 30%. So lightning chain also uses the pulverizing persistence, so it does not do critical damage either, but it gets the 30-ish damage amplifications from each. Then we have here Preserve Mana, awakened with Verdi, which is increasing mana barrier regen and max HP regen. Now, Preserve Mana is important because, as you have seen, there's a lot of legendary awakened skills and link runes in this build, so there's a lot of mana cost going on here. He runs 2 mana storms, one here and one here, so this build costs mana. Okay, as most high-end game builds, there's a lot of mana cost. Preserve mana is a good way to deal with that. It's not enough by itself, but it's part of the solution. Because preserve mana is going to give you, you get those stacks every time you use Lightning Chain to a maximum of 10 stacks, and then you recover 42% of the mana you spent. And it's a good way of regaining a lot of mana back. I use it, and you can actually remove it when you're doing easy content. If you're farming, for instance, doing easy maps, easy bosses, you don't really need it, so you can replace it if you want to. These 3 link runes, I know Hyperactive replaces them with farming link runes. So you don't really need it all the time. But every time you're doing hard content, trying to climb Void Rift, doing tough bosses, tough cards, you put Preserve Mana here. Mana Storm awakened with Origin, getting some mana cost reduction, and doing a lot of strike damage amplification, of course. And then we have status effect enhancement, because Lightning Chain is here not only because of the damage, it helps with the damage, but it's here also because of the debuff. Shock is a debuff, and every time an enemy gets shocked, there is a 30% damage amplification against shocked enemies. So you want to shock them, you want them to the shock to last longer. So there's a 28.2% status effect duration with status effect enhancement. It also increases the debuff, the effect of the debuff, but mainly it's about the duration. So then we have here Fire Torrent, also awakened with Source, giving it 12% attack cycle per stage. Fire Torrent, the DPS is lower, about 300k. This is a support build, support skill, and it has 8 Candor essences around it. It shares persistence and pulverize. So as you can see, the 3 skill runes don't do critical hits. Okay, and they are all surrounded by high damage amplifications. This 33.5, this one 28.7. Then we have the same mana storm as the fireball. Then we have here Strike Awakened with Origin. This one only linked to the Fire Torrent, giving it a cast speed amplification and attack speed amplification. The problem is Strike reduces attack speed and cast speed. It gives strike damage amplification, but it reduces attack speed and cast speed, which is not a problem for Fire Torrent. It would be a problem for Fireball. So you don't actually use Strike with Fireball. There are better options, as we have seen here, because you want more cast speed, not less. These two fight each other because reducing your cast speed will reduce your damage per second. You're casting slower, and it's a big reduction. But it's okay with Fire Torrent because you just charge Fire Torrent. You don't attack with it all the time, only when it's viable. So you choose when you're charging your Fire Torrent. So reducing the cast speed, the attack speed is not a problem. Element damage amplification, Awakened with Source giving it plus 65% element damage, plus the 27.4% element damage amplification, so more damage amplifications. And we have multi-shot to increase the projectile count. It gives more projectile damage as well, but at legendary. And some small projectile damage amplification here. But yeah. So these are the main skill runes. Very, very powerful skill runes. Very powerful set of skill runes. Let's see the other skill runes and link runes on this build. We have Teleport, which it's the only movement skill that he uses. And you really don't need too much movement in the high-end content, because you're not gonna be jumping around and teleporting around all the time. So basically, this is just for getting. Mostly, the most important thing about movement skills is to get out of danger, because you can do a lot of damage, but that doesn't mean you can just tank damage. That's a different thing. So it's important because high-end bosses and even mobs, they do a lot of damage. So you need a fast way to get out of danger. That's the most, it's not the only thing, but it's the most important thing about having a movement skill. Seal of Striking Awakened with Verity, reducing mana cost. Seal of Striking is interesting because it has 9 Candor essences and it has only 1 slot. So they are all in the same slot, and the reason to do that is to give 9 levels to the link rune linked to it. We know that seals, they increase the cost by a lot. So when you give 9 levels to dampen resource cost, that helps with it. It gives an extra discount. This dampen resource cost is level 38. It gives an extra discount to the resource cost. Then we have here Seal of Chaos Resist. Now, Seal of Chaos Resist, this dampen resource cost is only level 38 to Seal of Striking, because it's Seal of Striking that gives 9 extra levels to dampen resource cost. As far as Seal of Chaos Resist is concerned, this dampen resource cost is level 29. This here, this is not part of the build itself. It's not something that you need to get to copy Hyperactive's build, because these defensive seals are used to cover weak spots. So you could have a maximum chaos resist if you are lucky on your lucky enough on your rolls when you enchant your gear, you could have maximum chaos resist and have no need for seal of chaos resist. In his case, he's very well on element resist. His chaos resist is at 47.5%, so he could use a seal of chaos resist. And his armor is also not great, so depending on the content that he's doing, he will either put Seal of Chaos Resist or the other one that increases armor. We have here Release Element Awakened with Verity, giving it a plus to the skill rune effect. It's doing almost 50% element damage amplification, 33% cast speed, with a 5.5 duration, so very powerful release element. The basic link runes around it, time acceleration to reduce the cooldown, the increased duration, make it last longer, enhancing fact to make to increase the effect of the release element, and versatility to give cast speed and element penetration. Then we have Shout of Provocation, increasing damage, 116%, and 98.7% armor penetration, amplification, sorry. Activated on hit, it has 2 link runes here that reduce the cooldown. Hush Shout gives a cooldown recovery speed, and time acceleration shared with release element, also enhance effect shared with release element, and lingering shout to increase the duration of the Shout of Provocation. This one is big in the build. Siphon Life, this one helps with survivability. We have Preserve Mana helping with the mana cost, and this one is helping with the life, and he has a lot of life, 9,000 life. The man is not so big, the man is average, but it works for him. As we're gonna see in the 3rd video and the 4th video, there's some stuff that he gets that helps with the mana, and we're gonna see how he uses all this life also to help with the mana on the 3rd video when we go to the Zodiac. So Siphon Life, level 30 legendary. That's how important this is. Siphon Life is important because it's going to absorb HP on hit. So this makes cast speed even more important. We're gonna see a lot of cast speed in the next videos. So the faster you cast, the faster you hit, the faster your life goes up. So around Siphon Life, the same enhance effect shared with 3 skill runes. This is nice. Increased duration, time acceleration, and vitality recovery. It gives regeneration effects for max HP regen and max mana regen. Last but not least, we have Seal of Condensed Elements, increasing element damage. It's a seal with cooldown and time duration. That's why it uses the increased duration, time acceleration. So these are the runes, the skill runes, and the link runes for this build. Very, very powerful build, and don't miss the next videos. 3rd video, I'm going to break down the Zodiac. 4th video, we're gonna go in detail on the gear. Okay, so I'm making this build in 4 videos just so we can have the time to so it doesn't become one long video, and you can watch them each time you watch one video. I can watch you can watch runes now, later you can watch the gear, and then you can watch the Zodiac, and you can watch them in any order you want. The links for all the videos in the description of every video. Don't miss out.